Namaste, angels. The weekly love reading for the period of today, Sunday, March 18th at 6:18 exactly right now, p.m. As well, by the way. So like 6 for love for the beginning the 18th. Through Saturday, the 24th, that will be the last day for which this reading is. There's a lot of stuff going on this week that could affect us, beginning with yesterday, when not only was there the new moon in Pisces, and I've connected 8-8 to that, or 8-8 is connected to that, and I've noticed it and factored it in as my readings are concerned. The new moon was 26 degrees Pisces 53. So of course, both 26 and 53, both eights. Eights can be about karma, justice, abundance, limitlessness, endlessness. As it relates to justice, or it triggers that memory reminder for me about justice. Well, not justice. Karma, well, they can kind of go hand in hand, but I was trying to think of karma. As it relates to karma, it reminds me that Jupiter is in retrograde in Scorpio. That occurred on March 8th. On that same day, Mercury began to approach its retrograde, entered shadow. It actually goes into retrograde this week on the 22nd. Mercury, which will impact one way or another, quite possibly your communication, your travel plans, your modes of transportation, your electronics, basically everything that we use or do on a daily basis. Mercury, it rules, and it will be going backwards. So that could have some sort of impact upon you. It's retrograde in Aries. Mercury already currently in Aries, as is Venus. That happened on, I forget what day. I keep all this stuff in my head. I don't write anything down. That's not your fault. I'm not gonna take responsibility either. It's just the way it is. Maybe one day I'll begin to write stuff down. I think it was the 6th, actually, March 6th. That Venus entered. Both of them entered Aries. The 17th, I was saying, not only was it the new moon in Pisces, so all that stuff having to do with the double eights, but the new moon occurred at 9:11 in the morning. So I think that has significance. 9:11 a.m., which equals, of course, 11. The day itself, yesterday, Saturday, was an 11:11. 3-8-2. Yes, 11:11. What else? Mars into Capricorn, also yesterday at 12:40 p.m. This week, in addition to Mercury and Venus having entered Aries, the Sun will join them on the 20th. It will leave Pisces and enter Aries. Again, on the 22nd, Mercury retrograde officially begins at 8:19 p.m. And I believe that's it for the week. Also, I've been feeling something surrounding this song, Rick Ross song, Aston Martin music. I would have come back for you. I think it has to do with the Rubber Band Man and the coming back. Like I asked you to wait for me, or I said I'd be back. I said I needed a break. I come back. Like, who's this dude now? Some of that may happen this week. Or this chick. And some of you will have to have a choice to make. I guess that'll be the part of the feminine also. Both need healing, and I've connected that to, I told you guys previously, I had connected it to both Leo and Virgo, and I was seeing a lot of parties of 3, particularly for Leo and Virgo. Then we had the very impactful Leo full moon and Virgo new moon, or vice versa. Everything's getting mixed up in my head, but we had 2 very powerful moons in those 2 signs of the things that I had been seeing. And I was like, oh, okay, that's probably what it is. In addition to that, they both fell during this period of Lent, and I had connected Lent to it too. I said, I think this has something to do with it. And more, I've had, more revelations about this and came to understand some things. It does have a lot to do with Lent, not only that, but also prior to Jesus, like his original form. It has to do with the fight that Horus had with his uncle Set and defeating him as well, and his eye being put out. It's a whole thing. But but it has to do ultimately with the sun triumphing, the S-O-N, along with the S-U-N, right? So that's why we're under such severe attack and why we need healing. But where there has been a sort of a choice that had to be made for, let's say, divine feminine, should she get healing for herself or for the divine masculine? I've had a few cases where we decided together it should be for the divine feminine. And in the general reading, it shows up that way in the cards, that the divine feminine needs to go ahead and place herself first and, you know, not be worried about parting with the money that she has to spend, whatever it is she chooses to do in going about healing herself. And that's whether she, you know, runs out and buys smudges or some sort of bath salt or healing from me or whomever. You know, she should not be concerned about spending that money nurturing herself. The universe will like recompense her, like, you know, pay her back for whatever it is she has to lay out. It's part of the guidance that she's receiving. It's part of that 8, right? The infinite guidance. All right, I think that's it. It's exactly 6:13 right now too, when I pick up the first cards. So I'm also going to start with this opening message. And I think we've started with this opening message before, but it turned up again. Master number 22. I talked, as I always do, in front of, I don't usually talk from the love reading. Sometimes I do, but not typically, although I'm doing it right now. But I always talk in front of the general. And today I talked for exactly 22 minutes, that 11:11. But that 4 been coming up a lot. Those of you who are on my Facebook page, you saw it today at 4:04. I posted a screenshot of my phone. 4:04, my phone was at 44% battery life. It was 44 degrees in New York, and my phone updated at 4:04. So it was like 44, 44, 44, 44. Those are the 8s too, you know, so they're the 4s for our foundations, but it's also about the 8s. So here we are, loving all that is. I'm not going to read this card from the book. I think I'll read one for each of us, each archetype at the end of the reading. But I do want to say it has to do with the moon, the Pisces new moon. And here's all this blue, and here's the moon, and the divine feminine. And you can just, he's like water in the background, so you can feel like the love and emotion. It's definitely the representation of the Pisces new moon and what's to come with that. It's also about the fact that we're continuing to awaken and ascend. And whatever is part of that, like the highs and lows, the pain and the stuff that feels really good, right? The joy and the pain, the struggle and the triumph, the karmic, quote unquote karmic, and the divine. And I said quote unquote karmic because they're all karmic relationships, really. They're all of the universe. Jupiter is the planet of karma and expansion. You know, so it's not just negative stuff. There's good karma and bad karma. So karmic isn't a derogatory term. It's not a bad word, but I'm using it that way because that's commonplace, but I'm putting it in air quotes here. So the karmic versus the divine, like love them all. Love it all. Now, some stuff we're going to have to love and release. Love and transmute to love, because we don't want to hold on to darkness. Some people will teach that, preach that. I absolutely do not. I just don't. And that goes all the way back to the beginning of time too. That's never been embraced. It's been forgiven. It's been acknowledged and, you know, and forgiven so that we can go on with our lives, but not embraced. We don't say, come on, bring negativity on in. On that note, some of you have continued over the past couple weeks since I first said it to experience and or notice things around you, your stones, your jewelry, your, necklaces and bracelets and stuff, talismans, sentimental little items, tchotchkes you have that they're breaking. That is a sign of the attack on you. So if you didn't believe it, or if you didn't feel like, well, you thought I'm probably good, I'm protected. If you have that going on, just know that you are under the severe attack that I say the collective is as well. And then consider, your options as to what you can do about that. And part of that, that's part of the acknowledging that, yeah, darkness is coming at me. I can now do something positive with it. I can stop it in its tracks, take what's here, what's surrounding me, transmute it to love. That's part of loving all that is. All right, so I'm going to begin with a spread from the perspective of the divine masculine with another card that very much represents Pisces for me, with this angel standing in water and all these translucent fish jumping out of the water. Also the moon behind her. The moon represents the sign of Pisces in the tarot. Fish represent the sign of Pisces, right? Other than that, this is an Aquarius being to me. She's a water bearer. She's got this vessel in her hand with this water spilling out, and she's standing in a pool of water. But first, the dice. Beginning with yes. Yes to spiritual partnership. 29 is the next one. And dirty movie. Spirit still says 29 and has been saying 29 for a few weeks now. Also still says yes. And romantic dinner. So get those spiritual partnerships going where you can. And since this is the love reading, I'm talking about it as they relate to love and romance. So again, beginning with creativity, coming up with creative ways to express ourselves, to express that love, and to co-create, the kind of destiny that we want together. And opening to embrace, which is about one person's inner masculine and feminine coming together harmoniously so that each archetype, the masculine and feminine, can come together the same way, harmoniously. Creativity and opening to transmutation. Boom, what I was just talking about. We don't hold on to the darkness. We take it, we turn it into love, and it helps us to continue to rise. Also, a lot of fire energy coming out. This, again, can be Jupiter, ruler of Sagittarius. This can be that Leo I've been talking about, maybe the Ra I was talking about, right? Also, this can be Aries, of course. Again, Mercury in Aries, going retrograde in Aries. Venus in Aries. The Sun, the S-O-N and the S-U-N as far as I'm concerned. And maybe I'll explain it another time in detail what I'm talking about. In Aries right now. Transmutation and meditation. This goes toward the need for healing. And this can definitely be a mechanism for it. Transmutation. And miracles, they do come true. Those interested in my healing, you can go to Queenofswords, thelightworker.com to check out the 3 different kinds that I provide, and I detail them pretty extensively there. But also you can go to facebook.com/divinelightcleanse to read up on that one specifically, not from my perspective, but from those who've had it, because I really don't like to sell anything. I do like to see you guys get it. I do like the collective of light to fight back. I wish we could do it like en masse. I wish tons of us would all get healing at the same time and really go after, go at this dark, hard and fast. I do, but I don't like to sell it. So I have a page on Facebook where with my most popular healing, which is the Divine Light Cleanse, those who've had it speaking about it, what their result, what they experienced and everything, rather than me try to talk about it, so then I just feel it's more genuine that way. I don't even invite people to like the, quote unquote, like the page. I don't even invite people to like the page. They know about it because they've had it, and then they go and they like it of their own volition or accord, or somebody comes across the page and they read what they, they like what they see and they like it that way. But as far as me asking them, please join this page, without knowing anything about it or having any organic feelings about it, never. So in any case, our overall energy is listening. Listening, which represents the sign of Aquarius for me, and communication. So again, I said communication can be impacted this week, possibly. Not necessarily negatively. I've seen, Mercury retrograde can be scary, I'll admit. But I've seen it, you know, work in our favor too. It really depends, like everything else, in what house it falls for you in your natal chart, your personal situation, really. But listening can be about very 3D listening. Can be about paying attention to those infinite divine messages that come from the universe in that 8. And of course, it can be about speaking and dealing with one another on like an electronic means, a telepathic means, or through electronic communication, like texting, online situations, online dating and things. It can also be about the need to listen to like motivational speaking and binaural tones and maybe guided meditation. If you're going to listen to guided meditation, it is against my advice that you do so while sleeping or while, you know, with the potential to fall asleep, because then you don't know what somebody is speaking over your life. I don't like people talking while, you know, over me while I'm asleep, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody else. But as far as the binaural tones, all that stuff is good. All right, and opening 2, well, boom. You're supposed to. Okay, I'm thankful to the angels for presenting these cards, because again, I'm trying to express how very serious the situation is as it relates to healing and energy healing. Whomever does it, not you know, I'm not trying to sell it to you from me. I'm just saying, please get it, because you need it as an individual light being, and the collective needs you to have it. So this is healing sounds, and it's what I was just talking about. Binaural tones, guided meditation, even music. Like whatever genre of music you're into, you can listen to that in like a meditative way. Maybe go jogging while you with some headphones on, or do something else that is enjoyable to you, some stretching or something, or just sit on a park bench listening to what you feel good listening to. And something that's motivational, not like a downer. Listening and sorrow. We have a lot of this to release, again, particularly the feminine, a lot of pent up like resentment and regret. And yeah, you said you were going to come back for me. You said for me to wait, but it took too long. It wasn't in my time. You know, I done ran out basically. And I'm mad at you about it. All that kind of stuff that we need to get over, basically. That's not to say that the masculine doesn't have any of these similar feelings or reason not only to forgive, but to seek forgiveness and to apologize. He absolutely does. But I've just been feeling it and been showing up in the cards to sort of confirm what I've been saying, for the most part, on the side of the feminine. There are healing tones, by the way, specifically geared to help us to release negativity, toxic energy. Listening, one more. It's Earth connection. They all these cards are, you know, they align with one another, and they're completely joined, because the Earth connection is about our need to get out into Mother Nature. You can get out and listen to that music, or again, a motivational speaker, some kind of TED talk, or you know, law of attraction, or affirmations, binaural tones, anything, again, like I said, that's going to make you feel good. The scripture. People like to listen to Bible on audio, the Torah on audio, the Quran, whatever you're into, whatever's going to help you. But do it outside if you live in an area that's conducive to that. And this is going to help to open up the flow by releasing that negativity. It releases a block, and the flow can, you know, love can move both ways after that. And so you can have this abundance coming in from you and going toward others. It's part of the healthy cycle. In the cut, those cards potentially also about Venus, the Queen of Air, who's also the Queen of Earth, and can specifically also be about Earth signs as it relates to the Earth connection, and air signs, and maybe most specifically, again, Aquarius as it relates to the listening card. So there could be some air and Earth connections this week. And we're back to embrace. Now, embrace is very temperance-like for me, which is about healing. Temperance in the tarot represents the sign of Sagittarius. So this could be coming up as for that reason too. It's like balance also. So it's like more Venus too. more number 6, more Venus. So maybe more like a 6 of Pentacles kind of energy too. And again, the ability to give and receive, that allows love to pass both ways as a result. And the overall energy is the gateway. I feel like I did that twice. Like was listening the overall energy before and I changed it? If so, that was meant to happen. So I'm not complaining. I'm just like, what am I doing right now? I go with the flow and let the angels guide me completely. The divine feminine, the masculine as it relates to the feminine, himself, the union. Overall, what the masculine would have the feminine to do this week toward the union, do, surrender, contribute, however you want to put it. What he himself is willing to. What the universe would have the two do and the outcome. The divine feminine. Sorrow, I told you it was mostly us. And I told you there was a reason. If I did shuffle or cut twice or do the overall energy twice, there was a reason for that too. The divine feminine has got some toxicity to release, like majorly. It's very important that it's done in this period. I feel that it's done before Easter and it's done before Passover. Passover is March 31st. Easter is April 1st. April Fool's Day. It's Easter. It's not going to be a joke though. It's going to be a serious thing because not only are Jesus and the quote unquote saints going to be raised, but you know, like we're among that. We're among those saints. We're among those saints. Rebirth. Before we got to get there first. We got to make it through this period, this time. The firstborn has to survive and all that kind of stuff. And again, I'll explain maybe on another video separately, but I'm trying to explain the intensity and of, you know, the great necessity for particularly the feminine to get energy healing now, not later, now. So that we can release this on toxicity. The masculine as it relates to the feminine, he's got something to release too in order to even be with her and to have that new life and that new experience, that new anything, just a new phase even that they're going to enter, a more healthy one. He's got to let go of old crap. That could include some of this too. That could include some of his pain and regret and resentment and anger and whatnot as well. It can include another relationship. It can include whatever his baggage is what it includes. He has to drop that to vacate a space to be able to experience this heaven on earth. But it can be experienced with a rebirth, right? With a death to that old thing that doesn't fit here anymore, and a rebirth of yourself. Again, I feel around Passover, Easter, particularly for those who have put in the work for that to happen and worked on their energy. Masculine about himself, emergence from the depths. I said he's the rubber band man. He's coming back. I said Aston Martin music would have come back for you. This is coming back. This is emerging from the dark. I was away. I was in the dark. You couldn't see me. I didn't want to be seen. I was, you know, underground. For the real divine masculine, or the highest one, he was literally underground, right? That's where Osiris's domain. That's where he rests, but he does surface. He does emerge glorious like this. And the other divine masculine are made in his image. So that's what they're going to be doing too. This is what that is about. Rising toward the sun. Toward all this, you know, white light, which is of the SON, as far as I'm concerned, white light. All this yellow light that's welcoming. That is Uriel standing on the mountain, looking, spotting the devil trying to enter paradise and stopping that, halting that. That's what I think is going on around, like as above, so below. We're not seeing it that way. That's not the way it's being played out down here, but I think I'm pretty sure. And again, I've had a lot of revelations, a lot of thought, a lot of things going on with me to make me pretty sure that that's what's happening right now. About the union as a whole. Boom. This is that balance. This is the air and water coming together. This is the true divine masculine, who's a water sign, a Scorpio specifically, but it can be anybody. The true divine feminine, who is an air sign, a Gemini specifically, but it could be anybody. coming together in a way that is harmonious, like that of temperance, that is healing not only to each individual, and do they heal each individual when they heal themselves, not only that, but as a whole. And when one does get energy healing, if it's energy healing that's worth a damn, that works at all, and you can see this on, again, if you read my testimonials or speak to anybody that's had mine, both are affected. Both are affected. Both are helped by it. And that's the purpose. So it's like each individual and the union as a whole to be able to delayer. This is also about communication too. Again, with all the air here, but it'll be communication. We're going to put some thought, not just like logic and being stringent and cold, even if it's inadvertently, not overly air signly, some balance coming in, that emotion coming in, so we can think with our heart and our head and make like real decisions that's best for the two of us and everybody else involved. Overall, Earth connection. This is Venus stepping in with the abundance. Again, when we do what we need to do, we got to be active participants in it. We help ourselves to clear the way. She sends the abundance in, whether it is of love, of, material gain, finances, all of the above. We need it in order to have successful romances. She sends it, but we got to connect with her. What would the masculine have the feminine to do? Get with your inner child. That may be from where this stuff originally stems. You could be mad at him in this moment, blaming on him, and maybe you should, or I would say definitely you should. Everybody has responsibility in these things, and you got to take on some yourself, and then you got to forgive yourself first and foremost before you can forgive him. And maybe before you can forgive yourself first and foremost, you got to talk to this child. You got to visit this child. This is more the energy of Aquarius. Again, as a matter of, in addition to that, with each of these like communication areas on this young child, her throat chakra, her third eye chakra, her crown chakra, all having the star on them. So it's about, again, that electronic communication in specific, but can be telepathic. It can be just you going within and energetically, telepathically talking to your former self and maybe releasing that person. Maybe that's who has to go in order to vacate a space for the new you. The old me is dead and gone, as like T.I. said, right? That's what the masculine would have you do. He himself, very similar. This is expectancy. This is like, I'm done trying to dictate to the universe how to do everything. I've tried. I've failed. It does not work. I understand. I'm beginning to understand, if I don't completely, that in order to emerge and to ascend and to continue to rise, I got to surrender. I got to be nude and vulnerable before the universe and trust it. I got to have some faith. I got to allow myself to be healed. I got to get balanced out. I got to get in touch with my feminine side, or none of it's going to work. That's what he's doing. Letting go of the expectations and the impositions that he's putting upon the universe. He's been putting upon the universe so that he ceases to block his own blessings. Because that's what he's been doing. What would the universe have the two to do? Boom. It's more of this sort of water and very like moon-like. You get the feeling of like the moon in the tarot, which again represents the sign of Pisces. And it is the Pisces new moon that I think is initiating a lot of this, causing a lot of this. But we have that Aquarius showing up too. And we have that air sign element in general showing up too. And there's a need for communication of all kinds. Verbal, telepathic, internal, external, all of it. But also combining that with some emotion and not just being all swordsy, not just being all about air, combining that with some of this blue, this deep purple and blue that is that of the water, and paying attention to our intuition and our heart as well. And this is to be done on both sides. So one atop the other, we have these cards of air and water, and they need to sort of come into balance with the two of them. And then the outcome here, fear. It's the release of this though. So it's a positive spin on fear. If we do these things, we let go of this. This dies, right? This is what goes away in order to vacate the space that we need for the heaven on earth. I'm going to go to the animal tarot now, beginning with renewal or judgment, which represents the planet Pluto and the sign of Scorpio, which it rules for me, but is as it relates to work. So even working on your relationships, it's about promotion, raise, elevation, ascension. As it relates directly to relationships, romantic or otherwise, we're focusing on love here. It has to do with having me come to a crossroad, a juncture. This is a make or break moment. Where do we go from here, if anywhere? Is this it for us? We part ways, or are we going to continue to go? And if so, where are we going? What's our plan? What's our goal? And it's a good time to plan and to come up with goals. You don't have to implement them now. As a matter of fact, you probably shouldn't implement too much. You shouldn't start a new relationship or anything like that with Mercury retrograde beginning, unless you're going to do it before the 22nd. You're going to enter a commitment on the 21st or something. That's would be fine. But other than that, you should wait until that's over if you want it to be successful. And opening to the Two of Summer, speaking of successful relationships that may involve a Scorpio, that may involve Pluto. You're falling in love or experiencing a deepening of emotion in your current relationship. Marriages or romantic partnerships in distress can also still be saved. Don't give up. So we got to put that work in to release this kind of stuff so that we can release this kind of stuff. And we can do this. Rise, ascend, be rewarded by the universe, like the Judgment card or renewal in this deck suggests. Renewal. And the Nine of Summer, which is very Aquarian for me because it's about wishes granted, prayers answered, dreams fulfilled. Now's the time when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still to come. It gets better, basically, is what that's saying, even with regard to what we might be afraid of, these reunions. Look at the butterfly here. I said this card reminds me of, or represents for me, the planet Pluto in the sign of Scorpio. Here's the butterfly, which is the ultimate death and rebirth. Going in a caterpillar, that caterpillar essentially dies. It's no longer a caterpillar at all. You can't say, I'm still a caterpillar, I'm just a caterpillar with pink wings now. No, you're not a caterpillar anymore. You're a butterfly now. So the old you is dead and gone. And it's time for like a rebirth, a new life. Nine of Summer and balance. More of this temperance energy and sort of black and white converging upon one another. And more moon. It's to send you like this, the guidance to surrender to the healing. By merging varying points of view, you can generate an extraordinary new idea, compromise with others, and collaborate to discover a better solution. Balance or temperance, which represents again the sign of Sagittarius. On that note, I will cut. Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, which is retrograde in Scorpio right now. Okay, balance. Overall energy is the Two of Winter. So it's about a decision that has to be made, that's not being made. You're sort of at a standstill. You're doing nothing. You're procrastinating. You're ignoring the problem, hoping it will disappear. This can be connected to, who's that dude? Who's this chick? I said I was coming back. I'm back. What's up? It can be connected to that, absolutely. There are other decisions that you might have to make too, as far as removing people and other blocks from your life, whether or not to, make adjustments, and how so, if you need to. Procrastination and worrying about what others will think is blocking you from making a decision. If you're torn between your own desires and someone else's, follow your inner guidance. So like I said before, with that energy that they're sending us that's healing, of the temperance, of the embrace, that sort of thing, the balance card we saw with the air and the water, that guides us to use both our heart and our head in making these decisions. Masculine, the Empress. So this is about a new beginning, right? And it's time for you to, jump at it, basically. Time to hop into action. Absolutely. Use your natural creativity. We started with a card called creativity. I began with it, that angel, that being standing in the water. That was about creativity and co-creating maybe together or something, or planning. You thinking about what your goals are, what your dreams are as they relate to love and romance, and what it is you want, masculine, and going after that. And maybe that involves, dismantling a 3. Maybe it involves creating a 3. Maybe, bringing a new life into the world and or into your situation, if you're into something like that, whatever. The Empress represents the planet and goddess Venus for me, ruler of Taurus, Libra, and Gemini. So those can be particular zodiacs that are involved, possibly, but not necessarily. The masculine is surrounded by the 7 of spring. Be assertive, believe in yourself, and don't let anyone take away your personal power. Trust that your inner guidance is true and follow it completely. So when you receive these messages that, show you which direction you want to go and what's in your heart to do, and at the same time also works with your head, makes sense with your head as well. Not forgetting either, balance to both, equity to both. Your head and your heart get fair and equal, decision-making power here. Nobody else's anything has the right to trample upon that or get in the way of that. In your subconscious, the Queen of Autumn, who is thoughtful, caring, creative, and ingenious, and can be Venus again, sending you that abundance. She is the goddess and planet of love and money, all abundance. And popularity as well, right? Beauty and all those things. So you'll be given advice that's both practical and creative, again with the creativity. And it should be followed precisely. Focus only upon the positive in every situation and person. So no negativity. And speaking of Venus again and Libra, as it relates to the Empress, this is justice, crowning the feminine, also representing the planet Venus, and particularly Libra, which she rules. And it's more 8. Fair and just decisions will be made after all the evidence is reviewed impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a different disagreement. This also turned up in the general, justice turned up in the general for the feminine as well. This can have to do with actual legality, right? Legal situations, maybe family court as it relates to love, or like divorce court, or both. But it doesn't have to. It's about you getting your just due finally, whatever it means, by whatever means it comes. You finally getting your just due. Venus coming through with, the abundance for you. And it's on both sides. The feminine is surrounded by the 2 of spring, which represents divine partnership in the tarot. Your vision, creativity, and dedication to your cause have brought you great success. In fact, it may be in your best interest to get a partner to assist you in your endeavors or to expand the number of people helping you. So again, Jupiter is the planet of expansion and karma. So karmic, maybe relationships expanding, and karmic in general, not karmic derogatory. 29, right? Spiritual partnership. And the 8 of summer. So again, this can be about walking away from something too, because you want spiritual partnership. You want something more meaningful, something better. So you're walking away from something that doesn't work. You feel that there's more to life than what you're living. So it's time to move on. You may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you. Or perhaps you're being drawn to one that would make you happy. Either way, you're in control. So again, your heart, your mind, balance between the two. Balance, equity, and love able to pass both ways. Crowning the union, the Emperor. Very nice. This is a couple at the table too. So now we have like the divine couple sitting here as part of the spread, right next to one another. Venus and Mars. Structure and organization are important right now. Don't be afraid to take on a leadership role, as you have much wisdom to offer. The Emperor It's another 4, like that 22 with which I started. Represents again for me the planet Mars, the masculine planet of love, also of, you know, like organization, aggression, drive, basically. And he pushes things to get moving in the right direction, and to get in order. This can also be like a father figure type. It can be our energy. It can be the masculine's energy. It can be the energy of the union. Like just coming into, you know, it's 2 twos of spring, basically. I'm doing the work on my side. You're doing the work on your side. Again, equity, fairness, and judgment and justice on both sides. We're both putting in equal work for an equal goal or a common goal. We both want this. At the root, the 6 of summer, the love and care of children could become an important part of your life, or people from your childhood may return to it. Old memories can be healed, or possibly old childhood dreams are ready to be revived. Well, some of us, I've been saying, are pregnant, and some of us are about to have a child together. That's what we created together. We created a life together, and here it is. Another meaning of the 6 of summer, and as it relates to love in the tarot, is it's about soulmate relationships and past life relationships. It can be about somebody that's returning to your life in that regard too, if there's been distance or separation between the two of you. And at the heart of the matter, the High Priestess. This is a time to pause and reflect. Maybe not to take action. Trust in your spiritual gifts, as nothing is hidden from your divine intuition. So this doesn't mean don't make a decision at all. This doesn't mean ignore this and continue to do nothing. It just means make an informed decision, right? You've got intuition. You've got wisdom. Like the High Priestess. Use it. Again, it's a heart and mind. Use your heart and mind toward making the decision, toward deciding what it is you want. Also, crossing the Empress. This can be about, I'm going to say, since the Empress is here in Divine Masculine side, more so the Divine Masculine not feeling very beautiful, for lack of a better word. Not feeling very, because this can be about like dysmorphia, like body dysmorphia, and I think inside and out. You know, I'm ugly. I'm not very good. I'm not very deserving of anything. And that could be leading to the procrastination as well. Not only am I trying to be a people pleaser and do what other people want me to do, but maybe they're right. You know, maybe I don't deserve this anyway, so I might as well do what they want me to do, rather than, you know, I've got to be crazy to think this woman is still interested in me. You know, it's that sort of thing, for some as well. I'm going to further clarify these this week with my numerology deck, beginning with one of the cards on which we ended the last reading, Adventure, or 10 or 1. So it's like a new beginning, right? It's a brand new path. It's kind of like we're jumping out there. And I love this, that I open to healing and the need for it. And it's the need to heal love on both sides for each archetype, right? We each got our own 6 here. Our hearts need healing. Our relationships need healing. We don't all know how to do this, you know, and where we do, maybe not so well, and we need help. And it's the time to seek it. Even that's part of the adventure. Jumping out there and, you know, betting on yourself. Healing. And it's all toward domestic harmony. So there's a means, there's an end to our means, rather. And like, there's a reason why we're doing this. We got to put the effort in, though. This is another 10 or 1. So it's like the end of stuff that wasn't working and a new beginning at the same time. And speaking of 10s and 1s, karmic completion. Boom! Told you. Domestic harmony. I'm going to cut. So the end of a lot of the, you know, negative that we were experiencing, and a new beginning, a divine new beginning from Venus herself, where we get our just due. But we got to pay attention to our intuition. We got to listen to her messages, and, you know, the messages of other beings of light, and our own, you know, inner voice and higher self. Overall energy is time out, and it's another 10 or 1. So like, could be an end to separation, an end to that time out that you were taking. I would have come back for you. As a matter of fact, I'm here. right? Rubber band man. Soulmates returning to your life. Could absolutely be that. And I think it can also be about the need to go within, take a time out, take some time to yourself, to go within, to do that healing, to do some soul searching and deciding for real what it is we want, what we want. Not what we think others want for us, not what mom and them would do, what we want, and then implementing that, jumping out on this new path and on an adventure. Here atop the Empress is synchronicity. So Venus, again, sending you messages as to what it is you need to do and what you should expect from her. Pay attention to those. You're seeing signs, don't ignore them, basically. Atop the Seven of Spring, which is about when you decide what it is you want, not changing and deviating from that for what somebody else wants. Instead, what we're changing is our need to be part of other people's drama and to listen to other people's foolishness. If that's what we're changing, and we're going to stand our ground and choose our own battles. So some things maybe we will, decide to confront, and then some will just walk away. Atop the Queen of Autumn is parenting, as I was just saying. Some of you are actually bringing representative for children, or can be and was for me a moment ago in part. Some of you are actually going to become a new father or mother here of the masculine persuasion. And the Queen of Autumn can also be mother, right? It's Venus. It's that nurturing and compassionate and forgiving sort of energy. Very, very grounded type of person. But this is also in connection to the new beginning. Right? That's what we're parenting. It's not a person. It's a new thing. It's a new path. And we're going to nurture that and ourselves along that path. Atop Justice for the feminine, Pride. You releasing your ego, and this came up a lot for the feminine in the general. You releasing your ego and letting go and surrendering allows for the flow to come to you, allows for Venus to finally send you what you're due from a positive standpoint. You got to let go of that too. This is the block. So it goes back to that same healing. Atop the Two of Spring, what I was just talking about, each of us got to put that effort in if we want a 4, right? We want a 13, a 4, and 11, 11. We each have a 2 of Wands. We each got to do the work. The angels reconfirming that for us here. Put in the effort and, drop the pride, drop the ego. You'll get the abundance. It's as simple as that, right? It's as simple as that. Atop the Eight of Summer, relationship change. You want something different. You want something better. You want spiritual partnership. Go for it. 5611, relationship change. Atop the Emperor, physical activity. We got to get in the game. We got two 13s here crossing one another. 67 equals 13. 13, of course, equals 13. Each equals 4. Each equals 11, 11. Together, they equal 8. There's that continued infinite amount of guidance and support from the universe to get our lives in order. To get moving, right? Wands cards are cards of movement. Get moving on our own, organizing our own lives. And for some of us, that has to do with our physicality and our beauty. Remember the two of, the High Priestess, rather, Major Arcana card number 2 sits under here. And I said it can have to do with body dysmorphia. So it can have so many meanings. That, again, it could be internal too. I don't like who I am inside. I don't like what's around me, my environment. I don't like the way my home looks. Whatever it is, it's organization. But we have to get physically moving on it. I don't like the look of my relationships. I don't like that I'm in these toxic ones. I don't like that the one that I would like to be in isn't shaping up. I got to put the effort into doing that. So that's for both. But if it's an individual thing and it has to do with, again, physicality and your the aesthetics of it, your outward appearance, then that shows up here too, and that you have to work on as well. Inside, outside, both. We have to put in the effort, and then the goddesses and gods, and then God, you know, one, source, capital G, all here to support us. At the root, atop the 6th of summer, adventure. I told you this is the brand new start that we've given birth to. But we got to take it now. We got to allow it to end with the 10, allow what wasn't working to end, and embark upon the new one. Allow that 10 to become a 1. Allow even the 10 to change, and to change into a 1, and to become something new upon which we embark, like willingly. And at the heart of the matter, atop that high priestess, boom, boom, karmic completion. So this week is about endings and new beginnings. I guess as we expected, but maybe hadn't completely faced and really taken into consideration, and like for what it really means. We have to actively put the physical effort into releasing the stuff that we don't want, and into welcoming the stuff that we do, and into leaping out, you know, on that new path, taking that leap of faith. It all has to be of our own, like, volition and accord. For the masculine, your advice is domestic harmony. That's what you should be seeking. That's your new path. So where things were unharmonious before, in disharmony and disrepair, you're getting a brand new start. You're getting a 10 to end that, and you're getting a 1 to start again. For the feminine, the 44, the 8, we're getting that. And we got to, in some cases, change our environment. And again, that may be our physical self on the outside or the inside or both. Maybe we got to put in some physical activity, doing some exercise and things to help to raise our vibration. We become healthier, our vibration raises. We become healthier, we release positive endorphins. That lets go of fear and anger and resentment and repressed emotion. And that helps us to drop the pride. We spend some time with Mother Nature like she keeps asking us to do. And we open up the flow and we release blocks. All of these things. And 4 and the 4 together is our abundance, right? Is our 8, our abundance that comes in an infinite way. It's limitless. It'll continue to come in as long as we continue to seek it, continue to put the work in. From the animal tarot to the masculine, the king of summer, who is warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful, and the true divine masculine of all time, not just the tarot, real life, for me. A trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart as well. And here's your trustworthy relationship, right? It's domestic harmony. But again, it's not just going to show up. You have to do your part too. Feminine, from the animal tarot, for us, the 3 of winter. Sadness is part of life, but you don't have to endure it alone. You may need a little time to heal, but once you work your way through the emotions, you'll be stronger than before. This can have to do with, in some cases, this relationship change and letting go of one to make way for something new. We still mourn the old. It's still sad that we didn't make it with our child's father or whatever, you know, the case may be. That's just an example, right? So we mourn that. We let go of this party of 3, though. Or where this is just about the pain and stuff onto which we're holding, we acknowledge the fact now that we know we got to let it go. If we want positivity and abundance to come toward us the way that Venus wants to give it to us, we know we have to let, you know, these kind of emotions go. And so we're going through that process now. Those of us who so choose to accept the mission she's, you know, put before us. From the Tony Carmine Universal Love Oracle to the masculine. Healing sounds, boom. Okay, told you, working on healing. That's what this week is about. It is about healing. It is about 4 and our foundations. 4, which equals 1111, you know, which equals 13 in some cases. Death to certain things so that new things can come to life as it relates to our foundations. And the way that you can achieve some of those is through healing sounds, because that's how you begin with yourself, with your own physicality, by doing some physical activity towards your own karmic completion, and healing to approach this what's new for you, you know. That's going to help you with the 10 so you can get to the 1. For the feminine, from the Tony Carmine Universal Love Oracle, it is birth, right? Birth of something new, new starts, maybe actual babies for some, or actual pregnancy for some, and where you've been wanting to get pregnant, a good time to try. Anytime the birth, and especially when coupled with the Empress and Emperor, go for it big time. Lastly, to the masculine, I will read this one. Card number 17, or 8, more 8. Her Grace. And it looks very Pisces moon with all this blue and purple and femininity. And for the feminine, very earthly. We need to get out there. But also, this is Venus in Aries for me, right? This is Venus, mother of abundance, green, ruler of Taurus, connected to all this red, this passion. Maybe she's with Mars, who's, who's in Capricorn, actually, Mars is. Maybe they're together here. Or maybe this is her, just her on her own path in Aries with all this red. It's called the Blood Dance, and it's card number 42, or 6, which is certainly representative of her, of mother in general, and of love. And I'll read that for the feminine. Masculine, Her Grace, card number 17, equals 8. The goddess is awakening within your life. Remember I said earlier in the reading, you're drawing on your feminine and getting in touch with your feminine nature as well. That's what's happening to you. It may be within your own body, within a sensual deepening of a relationship, or with the relationship with your own body or the body of another through expanding creativity. How often have we seen that word today? A sudden burst of a feeling that you cannot logically explain, a desire to move, to dance, to express yourself, to sing, to write music, to draw, to play in nature, to swim, and to collect shells and lie on your back in the moonlight, gazing at the stars. Let her reach you. She's calling to you from ancient times, calling to you to allow her more deeply into your life. Celebrate the divine feminine. She is coming to life for you. Whether a man or a woman, your life is about to be touched by her magic, never to be the same again. The old you is dead and gone. This is going to be a new one, right? This oracle brings you a message. There is a woman who brings divine blessing into your life, who is trying to connect with you more deeply. The blessing may be one that is obvious or one that's hidden and challenged. The woman may be in your own body, if you're a female, or your own inner feminine, if you're a male. It may be a spiritual or physical being, the great mother, your lover, your sister, or your dearest friend. It may be a woman as yet unknown to you, but who holds a soul contract with you, an agreement predestined to awaken you. The empowerment will come to you not by rejecting what is offered by this feminine presence, but by embracing it and finding your truth through it. This is exciting because it means that you're growing. You are entering into the divine feminine temples of wisdom and finding a home there. I was born long before our time, and yet my time with you is something new. For you awaken in me a spirit that was longing for release, waiting for your touch. I thought it was safe to stay inside the boundaries and walls I carried with me. You touched all of me, and we walked outside the lines together. Feminine, the Blood Dance, card number 42. The heart craves life, and the blood responds. In relationship to each other, life happens. The desire and the action, the movement of cycles, drawing in and letting go, rushing to the center and pushing far away to the extremities. It is the cycle of relationship, dancing between self and other into oneness and into individuality. So it is with human beings in relationship with others, and with human beings and the divine essence. Sometimes the heart of God feels so close, it's as though our own inner passion is the very blood rushing through it. Then we journey far, bringing our nourishment to where it's needed, to those who are cold and lonely, to the farthest reaches of our own dark self, that we may, in very brave, if very brave, dare to love completely. Though we can be lonely for the warmth of the entire center then, craving that feeling of being at home, soon enough we are called back to the core of the divine heart, and the cycle continues. Remember that you are always in this dance of life. You are never apart from the divine. It's just that sometimes in our natural flow. It's easier to feel that divine presence than other times, yet you're always the blood connected to the heart. This oracle brings you confirmation that you are connected to divine source and to all that is. If you're experiencing a phase of feeling cut off from yourself, from your body, or from another, or from the divine, even from your own feelings, spiritual connection, or intuition, be reassured that this is temporary and part of the cycle of life itself. Soon all connections shall return with even greater warmth and nourishment, welcoming you home again with great love. If you feel you've been journeying in life and fear that you have lost your way, don't trouble yourself, precious soul. You are never far from the divine heart and will always be called home. So it's infinite. It never ends. It's a giant 8. Remember. Love's language speaks like sound of falling leaves, caressing wind to bear aroma sweet. You ask if I can love in measure true and give emotions weight the scales due. Each tear releases more than words can say, expressing all my heart wants to convey. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the weekly love reading and find it helpful in your lives. This reading is sponsored by Mary Anderson. Thank you, Mary. I'll be back with more. Namaste, angels.
My feet won't touch the ground.